Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity Podcast, episode 303. And today, Pete and I are going to be discussing a few things that have come up recently, a few kind of thoughts we've had on the back of some previous guests on the podcast and previous and recent conversations we've been having with clients and things we've been reading and all that kind of thing, things that we think might be helpful to you. Welcome Pete to episode 303. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm doing very well. It's lovely weather. So
I
finally,
think you said you've just been out and you've done an 8 mile walk today. Have you already?
yeah, without the dog. So I managed to do it quite quickly.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I suppose a few things we want to kind of go over. Like we say, we just had a brief kind of discussion before coming on about kind of certain topics and things, and there's always loads of ways that we can go. But one of the things that really stood out to me about the conversation we had last week with Ben Bradbury, who lifted the Dinnies, and he had said that when he decided that he was going to start training for them, and he was very very sensible. He sort of said, "Well, I'll start moving towards it, and even if I don't get to them, I'll be a lot stronger, you know, in a year or two than I am now." And one of the things that he said, which is what we actually called the episode, was action builds belief. And he had said, and I was quite surprised by it, that he's someone who doesn't usually have a lot of self belief and doesn't feel particularly strong and is a little bit reserved and all those kind of things. But he said that as and the one thing that really stuck out at me was he said that when he started training for the Dinnies, his max deadlift was about 160 kilos. Um, and mine's over that now. So but I personally would think the Dinnies were like miles out of my, and they are at the moment, obviously, but miles out of the realm of possibility for me. But one of the really interesting things he said was that the action builds belief, and actually, as he started training, he started getting stronger. And as he started getting stronger, he started moving closer to the goal. And then he actually started to believe more that he could actually do it. And I thought that was really, really interesting. As someone I've looked up to Ben, for quite a while in terms of someone who I think has certainly as relative strength. He's not a huge guy. I think last week he said he was about like 80 under 85 kilos or less, kind of.
Yeah,
So not a massive guy. And probably as well, I think was he about like 5'8", 5'9", or something like
same as
that.
me. Yeah, same
Yeah,
as me. He's
yeah.
like 6'5".
Okay. And yeah, so I've always looked up to him as someone who's been very strong for his size, certainly. But hearing him say that really, really was interesting. And I think most people, I suppose it goes back to the one with the podcast we did a number of weeks ago now, the one all about motivation and things. Like it's kind of you've just got to start and move towards these things, haven't you? Have you got
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I haven't spoken to Ben for years, but I saw him at like a few certifications and stuff.
Mm.
And like he was the same as me. The deadlift was always the problem. I'm a better squatter than deadlifter. Dan John's talked about this, hasn't he?
Mm.
About whether you're a pull, hinge, squat, push,
So
uh,
you're presumably then a squat presser or a
a
squat push.
squat
Yeah,
presser. I'm rubbish at
yeah.
pull ups, and I'm not very good at deadlifts. But I'm fairly good at squats, and I'm fairly good at pressing as well. So
Mm.
Ben, I think he was probably the same. I don't know, but he deadlift was his. He said was his like his thing that he struggled with, wasn't it? And I don't
Mm.
know if that's because he didn't have the strength or because it was in his head. Because I had
Mm.
the same thing going for a double bodyweight deadlift. I'd just be walking up to it thinking like, what am I doing? Am I going
Yeah,
to be able to do this? Not,
yeah.
yeah, this is all right.
Am I gonna hurt myself? Am I gonna pull my
Yeah,
back or so? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like I don't know if I ever thought that, but I was just like, oh, this. I always find this hard, so I found it hard.
Mm. Mm.
And I think I've only ever done a double bodyweight deadlift once, and that wasn't even at the certification. That was just in the gym on a training session.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it would be now. I haven't deadlifted for years, but so
So I
with
think years ago you were probably looking at around a 140, weren't you? Because you were about 70
yeah,
kilos, if I remember
yeah,
rightly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's not much more than that. It'd be like
Mm.
145 now or something.
Mm.
But Yeah, so with Ben, it was like he was saying that was the hard thing for him. And then he's gone and done the Dinnies, which sounds cool, doesn't it? He's gone and done the Dinnies. But like he's taken the thing that he struggles with the most. And obviously the Dinnies is different to doing a deadlift because the bar's not calibrated. You stand a bit higher, but you've got to have wider stance. I seem to remember Ben always had quite a wide squat stance as well anyway. He actually stands with his feet quite wide apart. So maybe he's the deadlift, like I don't know if he's trying conventional deadlift and that was not too odd, but it was easier for him to do
a sumo or something.
Sumo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's technically kind of what the Dinnies is, lifting it from further as well. So maybe it just fitted him better. Who knows? But it doesn't matter whether it did or not. He did it, and he trained for it. He believed, and then like you said, the very fact that he trained for it made him believe it eventually, because he even put it in some of his Facebook posts as well, didn't he? Some of his online stuff. He was just like, I have doubt that I can do this, and then you could see it actually come through. So, and then the purpose of it, I think, is like, what does it actually, what does lifting the Dinnies achieve? It doesn't really achieve anything, does it? That's it. I mean, it's a feat of strength, but what happens? Nothing really, but it doesn't matter because he had the belief that he wanted to do it and he made it his purpose, and then his purpose was to train towards it.
It's more that one that it's again, it's a cliche, but I know that Stevie Shanks talked about it, and it's kind of like almost like the training is about kind of who you become on the journey, isn't it? It's not necessarily about the actual lifting of the stones. It's about, what you learn about yourself and the discipline and, all the rest of it, following a program and being dedicated and being patient and all that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Well, it's like he said, you've got to prove it anyway. So by the time you get to Potok and you're there to lift the stones, you've already achieved something. You've already done it, whether you do it or not. You've already done something. And that's all they want, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's great. And then another quote that's quite similar, which again, there's a reason why I'm kind of asking this, because we're gonna kind of try and I don't know if it will tie all together, but the other quote that I suggested before we came on was that kind of so the one we just talked about was that taking action builds belief when you start moving forwards, and that clarity comes after action, not before it, was something I read this week as well, which is, and again, lots of people want certainty or want the answer or want the path laid out for them or really want to understand what they're doing, how long it's going to take, blah, 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 before they start. And you uncover that understanding and that clarity again through actually doing something and taking action and moving forward, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like take for example, like when we've spoke, haven't we, about Walk Bath and Walking Solves. You kind of started a walking group, a local walking group in Bath, because you were walking anyway and you liked it and you were interested in walking, and you first of all you got a few people coming along, and I think like those first few times was probably just one or two people or a handful of people came along, and gradually through doing that you became clear. Well, you probably think you developed your thinking and your clarity around then walking solves and the whole ethos behind that, and then you wanted to spread it wider, and so all of that kind of. But if you hadn't gone on those first few walks with no one or one or two people, you wouldn't have sat at home and you couldn't have foreseen. Sorry, you wouldn't have been sitting at home, Edith. I said. I said
you can't be trying to please Edith all the
No,
time.
but you know what I say. I spoke to her. You know what I said? When I usually say friend of the show, and then she said, if you talk about me, you got to say critic of the show, because
pedant of the
show. Because there was one of the pet peeves is me saying sat rather than sitting. Okay. And Keir Starmer apparently did a speech recently and he or wrote a piece in the newspaper and he used the phrase, you won't be, was it Wes? I'm sorry, don't want to talk about UK politics. Wes Streeting or something. It's a shame you won't be sat with us at the around the cabinet table. And it's, you won't be sitting with us around. So anyway, just sorry for everyone else who's listening.
Can you not say that though?
I don't think so. I don't think you should. Anyway,
Sean's like that because she does English Hub stuff and everything with schools, phonics and all of this sort of stuff. So she hears like, I mean, we don't watch football or anything, but some sort of commentator or whatever, and it's like he did fantastically. You always forget that bit, and she goes, Lee. Stop it.
Yeah. Anyway, so where was I? I threw myself off there with the sat and sitting. Oh, you wouldn't have been sitting at home and perceived or projected out what Walking Solves is becoming and has become. You had to start it, and it kind of developed a life of its own, didn't it? And then it kind of so I think that's so important because so many people don't start because they don't know where it's going to end or what direction it's going to go in and where it's going to finish, and you just have to, don't you? Otherwise you're not going to get anywhere.
It's an interesting one, this one, because I've been doing lots on this, and it's like you can't wait for perfection, you can't wait for the right time, you can't wait for all of that because you just got to go because it'll never will be. And a lot of that is, whether you call it procrastination or whatever it is a way to put yourself off, to say, right, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll start when I know why I want to do it, or I need to get a few things done first, or I just need to finish this first before I start that. And sometimes that's true, but most of the time it's just your brain saying to you, like, nah, you're fine. Just stay where you are. Whereas if you get going, the chances are something will happen. You'll either find out it's for you, it's not for you, it is what you wanted to do, it isn't what you wanted to do. You don't like it, and then you end up liking it, or you don't like it, and at least you've tried for more than a week, for a few months, because people try things and go, it didn't work, and it's like, do it and do it well for a period of time to get some feedback to decide whether it's the thing you want to do. So, because I mean, like, going back to someone like Ben, it was probably just what he's already good at lifting stuff. So he's like, well, I'm just going to lift something heavier. So he already knows he's going to train for it. And also Sven put him up to it, didn't he? But he couldn't say, you should do this, because Ben would just be like, well, I either want to or I don't. And it's Ben's decision. But Sven kind of planted the seed, didn't he? And then Ben took it. So, yeah.
And that's another important thing, isn't it? That he had someone who he was friends with, or it doesn't need to be a friend necessarily, but he had someone to consult with and to help him and to direct him and to guide him and to coach him, who'd walked the path themselves previously as well. So he wasn't trying to learn from a book or watch a YouTube video. Not that there's anything wrong with reading books and watching YouTube videos, but if you really want to achieve something, it's always a good idea to you can fast track your results by recruiting or reaching out to someone who's already done the thing that you want to try and do, can't you? That's probably the quickest way of doing it. Yeah.
But he could have just looked at Sven and said, no chance. Look at the size of you, But look at the size of some of the people who've done it. Stevie Shanks isn't a big man, is he? So, I mean, he is, but not in stature.
Yes. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So it's like, you could look at one person and say, but that it must have been easy for you. And it wouldn't have been easy for Sven anyway. But, you can look and say, well, it would be easier for you. It's like, yeah, but what about him? What about anyone else? You can always find someone or something in what you're trying to achieve to prove that you can't do it. But the chances are you can probably find someone who can prove that you can do it as well.
This is so. If we use just because we're talking about Ben and he was on last week, one of the other things that that I last week I was at a 2 day kind of conference thing with some different keynote speakers. Really great event in London with FMA, the fitness marketing agency, and they had Sam Warburton, who was the former Wales rugby captain and the British and Irish Lions captain. Ben Ryan, who was he's currently the performance director at Brentford Football Club, but he also was the coach of the Fijian rugby sevens team when they won the Olympic gold medal in Rio. He was fantastic. And then Jake Humphrey as well, who was the presenter of Formula One, I think, on the BBC and other sports. He did Champions League, and then he started off as a kids TV presenter, went and did all of that, and now he's got the High Performance podcast as well. So those three were really interesting, and lots of what was talked about was kind of standards, and within, like, say, Ben, who was coaching the Fijian rugby team, and Sam, who was Sam Warburton captaining the rugby team, was a lot about team, obviously building a team, standards, shared vision, culture, all that kind of thing, and structure. And although that what we're probably talking about on here is more solo pursuits of an individual trying to get better at something or achieve something or work towards something, still the kind of the standards and the culture and the structure massively play into that as well, don't they? It doesn't have to be you're part of a team of 15 people. Because the reason I mentioned that was so the Dinnies, lifting the Dinnies is the kind of the big goal out there. But certainly what Ben Ryan said was, if you're training to win, you're training to compete at the Olympics and you want to win an Olympic gold medal, there's so much that's out of your control within whether that happens or not. In terms of, especially in a team, someone might get ill. One of your main players might get ill or injured, or depends on the weather conditions and loads of stuff. Someone could get food poisoning at the Olympic Village or whatever. So all you can really do is control what you do on a daily and a weekly basis and the standards that you hold yourself accountable for. So when you come to do that goal, so when Ben stepped up at the Dinnies, to give him the best possible opportunity of lifting them, having trained for 2.5 years previous, and obviously most Olympic cycles are 4 years. So putting all that work in to then give you the best opportunity to doing what you want to do. And we've spoke about this so many times, haven't we? In terms of learning to love the journey, and it's like we said, it's not the result, it's the person you become in the pursuit of it. But yeah, does this tie in with you at all, with what you do and with the
Paul McElroy put a post up the other day as well, didn't he, about something to do with this, that I think it's to do with this is, and I can't remember exactly what he said. It was two skulls that he put up. And I can't remember what the significance of those, but it was basically like, you can't wait until you feel exactly right. It's like, if you've been training and doing well, and following a program and enjoying the process and trusting the process and all of that sort of stuff, you when you come to doing something, some sort of feat of strength or whatever, you might, like the Dinnies say, you've got to do it on a certain day at a certain time. And Ben was like, they do it at 4:00 in the afternoon, and he was worried about it all day and all that, but he went and nailed it because he's trained for it. So David Keown spoke about this a while ago as well, didn't he? About kettlebell sport, when you turn it to a competition, and the people who are whinging about the fact that, I haven't got my bells with me, the chalk's different, the bells are slightly different, which they're not, because
the temperature's not right.
The temperature's not quite. They don't win. It's the people who just turn up and do it who win. So when you're saying that, there's lots of things that are out of your control. Yes, there are, but as long as you've trained and trained and trained, and you're at a point where it's like, well, it doesn't matter if everything's perfect or not. I'm still going to be able to perform really well at a very high standard. And I don't perform at a high standard necessarily, but some training sessions, I'll be going to lift a weight that is daunting for me. And I'll feel like, I've not a very good night's sleep or whatever. And it might be the best training session I have that week. So you just can't tell. But it's how your body kind of reacts to a weight or a situation or whatever, how your central nervous system does. it doesn't necessarily matter how you feel. It knows if you can do it or not because you've told it many times over and you've done many reps. So that's the way I look at it. Is it regardless of how you're going to feel on a day? If you've got to pick a day of competition or a week or 2 weeks or whatever, like for the Olympics, and you've got to play 5 or 6 games or whatever it is. Yeah, like your guy said, you can't worry about that. You've just got to keep training to go there, and then it is how it is on the day, because another team, what might happen is everyone on your team just happens to feel great, and another team have got like little bit of food poisoning or something's happened, or one of their team have got food poisoning, one of yours has got food poisoning, but they've trained harder or something like that. You could take that.
There's so many variables, isn't there?
Infinite different ways, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's true, and I think that's so yeah. I think that focusing on the standards is great, and like you mentioned, because we were just talking about this. What is it for the 100K challenge? That's around Bath, is it? The walk?
Yeah, it's a couple of charities, off the record and Mentor and plus the kids' mental health charities.
Yeah.
But the challenge is to do like travel 100K. So it was a walking thing, but you can walk it, cycle it, swim it. You can do whatever. Well, you wouldn't want to swim it probably,
Yeah.
but you can do whatever you want, But it's 100K
Yeah.
by like between May and September. So it's basically set up for people who don't necessarily go out and walk and what have you. And like it's going to be over summer holidays, so it's for like people to do with the kids and stuff like that.
That's around sort of 65, 70 miles, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, you went out and did that like last week.
Yeah, I'm doing a 1500K challenge because I did 100K last week. I did 116K last week, so
yeah,
I'll do it. I wanted to because I was on the I would say help organising it. I didn't help organise it. It's all organised and everything, but they asked me to come on board because I've got a walking group.
Yeah.
And some of our guys will do it, But I thought, well, because I did it last year as well, but I didn't do the challenge. And I thought, well, I want to do the challenge, but it's not a challenge for me. It's what I do on a weekly basis. So I was like, right, well, how do I make it a challenge? So I just sat there and came up with, I just went, well, about 1,500. That sounds about right. So I think it works out about, it's like 1,000 miles almost, isn't it? Just shy. So that'll be all right.
Oh, 1,500 kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in like 4 months. So that'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Excellent.
that was the thing. It was like, you can look at stuff and go, well, there's no point in me doing that because it'll be easy. It's like, well, think of something that'll be hard then.
Yeah.
There's there's a Japanese concept of that, isn't it? Is it Misoji or something where you pick a challenge to do? You do it like, this is the whole thing of getting out of comfort. So you pick a challenge and you've got a 50-50 chance-ish of doing it, of achieving it or not. And you don't want to pick something that if you don't achieve it, you die or you injured yourself or you get really hurt. You want something that is like running a marathon or something like that, or lifting the dinnies or whatever, You pick a challenge and then you go for it. And then you've got like a 50-50 chance of completing it. And if you don't complete it, you learn something along the way. And I think within Japanese culture, it's like they do that, they say do that once a year. So, yeah.
Well, we haven't spoke about it because I think because last week we obviously had a guest, but the weekend before, I went and did I did the Nuclear Fit with the guys from the gym. So there was about 10 of us there. And it was the first time because I'd meant to do it the previous year. And what happened?
You got injured.
I got injured. I can't remember if it was Achilles or something. But we were there this time and it was really good. And I've actually signed up to do it again in July and September because they do 3 a year. And I hadn't put any pressure on myself at all because my Achilles was I kind of pulled it again. And so the running, it was 6 1K runs, but it was like real up and down in a field, so up gradient, down gradient, farm kind of track, almost fields and stuff. And the 6 1K runs, I just said, well, I'm just going to jog round. Really, I'm not trying to go fast at all. I'm just going to aim to finish this one. And then you had the six exercises in the middle. And I didn't have a watch on. I wasn't timing. I wasn't like looking at my watch. Oh, I've got to speed up. I just enjoyed it. And it took me like I think an hour and 1 minute. Um, or at the end, like Steve Bush sort of said, "Oh, look, it's like 1 hour, 1 minute and 30 seconds or something." So then the next thing I thought was, I could get that under an hour, definitely. Like I could go a little bit because I really just jogged. I wasn't trying to go fast at all. So I thought, well, the next time I do it, I'll try and go. Even if each of the kilometers is 15 seconds quicker, 20 seconds
Yeah.
quicker, it'll be under the hour. So I've signed up for that again. But the guy, I mean, Steve, every time he does it, he knocks a bit of time off, and he's 60 now, and I think he did it in like maybe I want to say 56 minutes or something like that. And another chap, Carl from the gym, who we're going to have on as a guest, I think, in the next few weeks, is 60 as well, but he's a really fast, he's a good runner, and I think he did it in like I want to say around 40, 45, 46 minutes, something like that, really quick. And then Laura Shanks, who's been a friend of the show, guest on the podcast, she was around the 44, 45 minute mark. And she was the second woman to finish by 2 seconds behind the first.
Blimey.
So she was like, right, I could definitely do quicker because she said I made a few mistakes. I wasn't really sure where I was going, and I did that. So she's going to do it again. But yeah, no, it's in fact I think Carl and Laura are going to pair up and do like a mixed doubles kind of team next time, I think. So yeah, that was good. That was totally out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad I did it, which was good. But you mentioning the challenges, picking something that's hard, or not hard but doable, hard but achievable. I mentioned before we
Yeah.
came on, we Shane Nugent from Quantum Nutrition, who's working with us at Unique Results now. Recently, we had a challenge for all the members, and you when you said this, it's exactly what people. So it was really straightforward. Daily, 8,000 steps, uh, 5 servings of fruit and or vegetables. And 2 liters of water every day. And every evening he would post like in our Facebook group.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. There you go, sipping your water as you go. Every evening in the Facebook group, he would post, right, time to check in for today. Post, how you've got on, and people can post in, photos of maybe meals or food they've had, and also post the photo of their sort of step count, from the iPhone or whatever. Um, and so many people, you tell them that, and they just say, "Oh, is that it? Like, is that all I've got to do?" And you think, well, actually, try it. And for the majority of people, and these are people who are used to exercising, and take their health relatively seriously. Not obviously for you, but 8,000 steps a day when you're working from home, sat on a computer all day, is actually a lot of people were struggling to get 8,000 steps a day.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
if the weather's rubbish, like, you're
yeah,
going to be like, oh, I'll do them later. I'll do, this
yeah.
trying to do it day after day after day, every single day is tricky.
Yeah, but it's because we did a little a little online workshop with him yesterday, or on yes, yeah, went yesterday, and he sort of said to Steph and I were on there and said, "Oh, how did you guys get on with it?" And I said, "Well, actually, it's surprisingly. I mean, the steps is usually something I don't have a problem with. Although the 2 days last week when I was at this conference and I was, staying in a hotel and the conference was in that same hotel,
Yeah.
and it was like 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and then you went to dinner, and I did about 2 or 3 thousand steps a day for those 2 days. But on an average day, I usually get over 10,000 without, and on a busy day, maybe I'll get 15,000 plus. But I said it's amazing just having that. Again, it's a layer of accountability, it's a layer of tracking, it's setting yourself a challenge. I really like that with the steps. I really do like that, and I like it with the water as well. It makes me
Yeah.
more intentional with. I've got a bottle of water that I always keep in the gym in the fridge, so and that's always full up. So I'll go back in this evening. I'll be taking that out of the fridge. In the morning, I tend to drink more coffee. But in the afternoon, evening, I'll be drinking the water, make sure I finish it, fill it up, put it back in the fridge for tomorrow. So,
Yep.
yeah, it is good. Those simple things, I think. And again, it's about those standards, habits, structure, what we talked about earlier, isn't it?
So here's an interesting question. You got the pictures,
Yep.
right? Once a week or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't been as much lately, but yeah, I try to do
No.
once a week. Yeah.
Do you know if you drink more water, less water, the same amount of water on those days?
Um, I
This is
can you imagine
exciting
that.
podcast stuff.
So
This.
yes, I'd imagine it's about the same. I mean, if I'm going to
Okay.
go and watch a film that I know is a long movie, I won't. I will intentionally not drink loads and loads of water before I go because
No,
you
but
know what I mean.
the
But
reason why
well,
I
yeah,
ask
well,
is because
yeah,
the reason why I ask is because like I go out walking a lot, obviously, and
mm,
I just so you tend to drink water. I think you drink water because of that, because you get
mm,
you're like, oh well,
mm,
I'll just have a drink of water when I get in or whatever.
mm,
Or I take it with us on a very hot day, obviously. But on days that I'm not doing loads of walking, if Sid's at doggy daycare and I'll just be like, oh, I've got work to do, but I get it done. So I've got a few hours. I'll just sit and watch a film. I drink way less water that day
mm,
because I'm not as active. I'm not doing stuff. So you can imagine if people are sitting at home all day, working from home, not getting the steps in, they probably don't drink as much water
mm,
because you can sit at your laptop for 2 hours, can't you? And that 2 hours has just gone like that, and then you're like, "Where's the time gone?" Oh,
mm,
I haven't done this. I haven't done. Whereas if you get up and go out for a walk, you can come back. You're probably going to be more productive. If you're drinking water, you're going to be more productive. You're probably
mm,
going to sleep better anyway. All of those things. So I think when you said someone said, "Oh, people were saying, is that it? That's not much of a challenge." It's like if you're not doing it already, it will be because you're not
yeah,
used to it. So it's building a habit. Not it's not the challenge isn't doing the thing. The challenge is continually doing it, making it a habit. And that's the
mm,
Dan John thing was said, didn't it? When he said he'd ring, like obviously back in the day, you'd ring someone to check in with them, and it would ring and ring and ring because they were just having 2 glasses of water before they answered the phone, so they could tell you that they drank all the water. That's it's exactly that. So,
yeah.
which doesn't matter because then at least you've done it, but you can easily forget. You know,
Mm. That's the thing.
um,
I think you have to be intentional with these things, and it's
yeah,
like well, it's like the you mentioned. I think it might have actually been on. Which one was it on? Because I listened to it the other day, um, where you had said you were talking about taking like creatine in the morning and collagen and supplements and
yeah.
things like that. And some days you know, most days you do, but occasionally you forget, to
I
take
haven't done
it.
it today. In
You haven't done
fact,
that. I've
you
just
just
reminded you.
reminded
I
me.
just reminded you. Yeah. And so that's the thing, isn't it? It's kind of trying to make it so that, but you will never forget to brush your teeth in the morning, will you? No, you just don't.
No.
You just don't forget. So when things, but you've been brushing your teeth, for nearly 50 years every day. So
Although a little story on that, when we went away a couple of weeks ago, we did the thing of we were staying in this Airbnb, and then I went to brush my teeth in the evening, and I was like, "Have you got the toothpaste, Sean?" She was like, "No, I thought you had it." So nobody had brought any toothpaste, right? So I just brushed my teeth with my toothbrush,
yeah,
and then got up the next morning, and we were going out for a walk. So I just brushed my teeth with my toothbrush, but we'd had garlic and chili sausages the night before,
oh god,
and it was hot.
there
That
must be a
walk
there
was
must be a local store somewhere.
No, there was. We were in the middle of nowhere, but we had to go to the local store on the way back from the walk. So
Oh, so you picked up some toothpaste then?
it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and honestly, my mouth, it was horrible. I was just like,
Yeah,
I was drinking water and everything, but it just felt like
I was gonna say the water must help a little bit, but
it
yeah,
did.
yeah.
But brushing your teeth's well worth it. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, we can highly
Honestly,
recommend brushing your
it was
teeth at least
awful.
once a
I
day.
was just
Yeah.
like, I, I don't know. I just felt like I'd obviously had a shower and everything like that, but I felt dirty
Yeah,
because
you
my
just
mouth,
yeah.
like, it was horrible.
Yeah. No, so yeah, so the supplements, taking them needs to be, and we spoke about this before because um reducing or removing friction from doing things. So I also find that if we're going a bit off topic, but I think it's useful. Anyway, I always find if you've got like if I've got my creatine like stuck away in a cupboard somewhere, and
Yeah.
then my magnesium and zinc and vitamin D stuck away in another cupboard, and it's just out of sight, out of mind. But so now I literally have it on the kitchen work surface,
Yeah.
in a corner. So when I come up down in the morning or before I go to bed, it's just there, and it's next to the sink as well. So it's really easy to just
Yeah. Yeah.
got a glass, and I've got the glass out that I use. And I think people need to do things that make it as frictionless as possible to start embedding these habits in. Um, yeah.
Well, even having it there, you're going to see it, so you're going to do it. Like you
Yes.
see, out of sight,
Out of
out of
sight,
mind.
out
If
of
it's
mind.
in the cupboard, and it is weird because it's not. I mean, how hard is it to open a cupboard and get something out? But you will make it as hard as you can because
Yeah.
it's just a thing. The thing is, it's really good for you.
Mm,
It's regard. I'm going to say creatine's good for you.
mm,
But that if you don't really necessarily know that and appreciate that, you're gonna that out the act of getting it out of a cupboard and doing it outweighs the act how good it is for you if you don't actually know because you haven't experienced it. And it's not good
mm,
for everyone. It does, some people get bad stomachs and stuff like that. But um, largely it's good for you.
mm,
And the actual like since I've been taking it, I've felt a little better.
mm.
Training's been better. I've felt clearer in my head. I might not sound it right now, but
What do you
um,
do? Just what do you do each? Do you just take 5 grams a day, or do you take 10 grams a day? What
two
do you do?
big heaped scoops because the scoop's
Okay,
about three grams of, or is it
might be
two?
five
I
grams.
don't know. I
Yeah.
just chuck a couple of scoops in and, and that's
Do you
it.
have it once a day though? In the
Yeah,
morning
yeah,
or
in the
something?
morning.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have that in the morning with some. What do I have? I've got these
Col-
turmeric tablets now, turmeric and pepper, because the company that I get it from sent me some for free. So I thought, oh, well, I might as well.
Yeah,
I don't even know if they do anything.
yeah. Because I have 5 grams in the morning, 5 grams in the evening. Um,
Yeah,
but if I do miss one, it will be the evening one. And that's just because I have it with quite a lot of water. And if I leave it really late to take it, I tend not to, you know what I mean? I tend
yeah.
not to want to have it too late. But I always have the morning one without a doubt. And
Well, I
probably,
get up in the morning and make I put the coffee on, I have my creatine, and then and then once I finish my creatine, so the creatine's there, the cup's there, the sink's there, and then the collagen is in that cupboard, like
mm,
directly above my head.
yeah,
So when I coffee, it's like collagen, put that back,
yeah,
and then the coffee goes in the cup. So by the time I've been up for 15 minutes, it's already done.
yeah. Yeah, that's the
Uh,
thing. It's setting yourself up to succeed, isn't it? With these things, and again, it does come back to standards, culture, structure. It's making these things part of your structure, um, and just setting yourself up to succeed and removing as much friction as you can.
yeah,
So it's a bit, I know people might be listening to this thing. It's a bit boring talking about the actual, but this is the kind of the detail, the granular kind of detail that you need if you really want to make something stick. It's what you have to do. If you leave it to chance, you won't do it.
yeah. People just want a magic bullet from a podcast, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, yeah, we talk about the boring stuff on this podcast. It's
The
true
boring
though.
stuff that
That's
works. The boring
Yeah,
stuff
but
that
that's
works.
the thing. It's like, do that. You know, success is boring in anything, isn't it? Let's
Mm,
face it. It just is. That's why people don't necessarily talk about it that much, and they talk about the hacks and the things that you need and all the fancy stuff. But even when you look online, all the influencers and stuff like that, the people who you actually truly respect, or I do anyway, are the people who they try and tell you in a more entertaining way that it's boring and here's
mm,
why and here's what you need to do. And it doesn't sound exciting, but everyone else is just trying to sell you stuff or whatever.
mm.
So, yeah, that's the way I see
Excellent. Excellent. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. And I think, like I say, these conversations they're applicable to both of us. They're applicable to everybody else, and they're just sort of universal truths. Things that we can all work on to help us get better. And I do love that action builds belief. That really
it. Yeah.
stuck out at me because I think we often we limit ourselves we limit ourselves from starting something if we don't think we can achieve it. And I just really liked that perspective of I didn't actually he didn't think he could actually do it, but he got started on the way, and he knew that even if he didn't get to the end result, he would improve a lot on the journey. And as he progressed throughout the journey, he started to get some belief and believed he could do it, and in the end, he did. So no, I really liked that. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
Pretty-
I need that very belief for my pull-ups at the minute. I'm just putting that out.
Well, your pull-ups are going, but you're doing a lot of the weighted ones now, aren't you? I see.
Yes, but the weight's got to a point where they're not really looking like pull-ups anymore. It'd be one of those ones that when you see online and they go, none, none,
Yeah.
none. It'd be
No,
like that.
no reps were done here today.
Yeah,
No reps were done here today. Yeah, yeah,
Basically, yeah, lots of straining and all that, but no reps.
yeah. Anyway. Right, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Peter Lant.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we will be back next week for episode 304. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, for listening. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so, especially Apple Podcasts, and give us a subscribe on YouTube as well. And we will see you next week. Actually, and Peter Lant just said to me before we came on, I think this is episode 303. 312 will be our 6th year anniversary. So that's coming round as well. One podcast every single Friday without fail for 6 years. So that'll be quite good when we get there. That'll be brilliant. So thank you all for coming on this journey with us, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.